Right. Me host, what does that cloud mean? Let's get ready then.
Yeah, she's just here.
Hello. Hey, Sean.
Yeah, Pat, how we doing?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
All right, mate. Yeah, thank you.
Good. Good to hear it.
Come on, dog.
Right, is anybody else in? Let's have a look. Participants. No, just me and you so far, Sean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Must be all drinking beer in the garden.
It's just us idiots not joining them.
And try not to get into that habit.
No, it's yeah, slippery slope, I think.
Yeah.
Right, mate. Well, we might as well we'll do a little bit of a mobilisation, a little bit of a warm up. If anyone joins us, great. If not, me and you'll just work through it.
Yeah.
Right. So, quick recap. What we put out on the internet there. So, next week I want to do some volume training or a sort of yeah, a little bit more sort of total work completed if we can next week. So some higher volume stuff.
Right.
3 sessions next week, but to finish this week, we'll go back to the pre-exhaustion stuff, and we'll try for an isolated movement first for the chest, then into a compound. We've got a couple of them. Same for the shoulders. Two pre-exhaustion supersets to hit for the shoulders, and the same for the triceps at the end. So we'll see how we go. It should be good. It should be challenging anyway. So the first couple of movements we've got, we're going to do some slide stuff. So you're going to need your dusters and a slippery floor, into some abductive push-ups, and then into some tempo push-ups after that. So we should be able, between us, we should be able to just count. Like the tempo stuff, sometimes you have a little metronome beeping away, just to make sure that the tempo of your reps is absolutely bang on. But if there's just me and you and a couple of others, we should be able to count it, I think. So we'll have a little warm up, mate. Let's have a quick check, see if anybody else is in. Hey, Liz is in. That's good. Brilliant. Right. So have the light dumbbells to hand. We won't use them just yet. We'll just raise the body temperature to start with. So a little jog on the spot as usual. Usual sort of warm ups, just on the spot, really. Is that plain? Like that little jog. Change the plan again, cross-country skiers. jog. We'll have a little check squat, so we'll drop into a squat. Check a squat. Loosen up them knees a little bit. Not that we're needing too much hips and knees today. Get the temperature up. And back to that jog. Back to the walk. And into a bit of mobilisation for the shoulders, upper body then. So let's get some internal, external rotation to start with then. So we're looking for protraction, retraction of the shoulders. So turn your hands inwards, so the backs of the hands are facing, and then come right out and forwards, so the hands are forwards. Hands away into the sides, loads of internal rotation into external rotation. So from the side, you can see that protraction into that big retraction. Let's just get the scapula moving. Really turn your thumbs over if you can. Just returning everything out. Get those shoulders as close as you can at the front. Almost get those shoulders into the sternum, and then out as far away from the sternum as possible. And into the shoulders, scarecrows. Get that rotator cuff nice and warm. Plenty of blood into it. Check. And back, give yourself a hug. And take everything behind. Specific mobilisation of the muscle groups that we're going to use now, today. One up, one down. Whoa. Pretty sore across the shoulders and upper body. Did a bit yesterday. Big circles. Whoa. And change. Still there on the torso, a bit of rotation. Bit of lats, intercostals and obliques then. Just ease off. Stay in extension with the hips. You don't want to fall into flexion. Stay in extension with the hips. Try and stretch out those lats a little. Now on to just loading the shoulders just a little bit. So I've got a pair of wands, light dumbbells, tins of food, whatever you've got is fine. Let's just load up and mobilise those shoulders a little. Back to those scarecrows with a little bit of load. Make sure there's plenty of warmth, plenty of blood in these shoulders before we start on. Let's go into an upright row with external rotation then. So as we come up, take thumbs behind. Safer movement, keeps the capsule of the shoulder open, so there's less chance of impingement. So if we were to do that classic upright row, there's this impingement there. The further up we come there, the more impingement we get. But if we externally rotate, then we can look after those shoulders, keep them safe. Let's get a little bit of scap retraction now then loaded. So tipping at the pelvis, squeezing those shoulder blades together. We want to be able to get that scapula where we want it for performing these good movements for the chest, shoulders, triceps. In this position, raise, get that lower trap. So as we raise the arm and the humerus over the head here, we need scapular depression, which the lower part of the trapezius completes for us. So get that lower part of your back fired up into some steady overhead press then, just to push a little bit of blood in. And that's good enough as a little mobilisation for the shoulders. Good stuff. So, as we were saying, first up on our exercise journey today, chest. 2 movements, two pre-exhaustion supersets for chest, 2 pre-exhaustion supersets for shoulders, and 2 for our triceps. So the idea behind pre-exhaustion, if we were to follow this in the classic fashion, we would do a isolated movement for the targeted muscle first, followed by a compound movement for that muscle group after. And the idea is the isolation movement tires it out, tires the targeted muscle out, and then you finish it off with assistance from the surrounding muscle group. So if we do a fly, for example, predominantly chest, with a little bit of assistance from the shoulders, then you go into a push-up or a press. You got your chest working in unison with the shoulders, in unison with the triceps. So you fatigue it out on the isolation stuff, and then you bring the compound stuff in afterwards. So just a nice way to add that little bit of extra challenge to our sets, really. So we're going to go for a slide negative fly, which we'll look at in just a second. So you're going to need your dusters and cloths. Into our adducted push-ups, which we're all familiar with now, probably the best way to activate the chest in a push-up position. So those are the 2 movements. So onto our slippery floor. Step over here. Give you a quick demo. Right then. So I'm just going to grab a mat as well for my knees in just in from somewhere. A couple of cloths. So
Yep.
we're going to, it's two exercises performed back to back. So we've got our slide negative fly. So I'm going to go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the top. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And got as many of those as I can. Then I'm into my adducted push-up. So I'm going to drop to the bottom, get the chest down to the floor, up, twist across. So you've got that relative motion moving across. This hand's effectively coming across the chest, which is the roll of the chest, horizontal adduction across the body. So drop, up and go across, drop, up and go across. So you get that twisting into the hand that's rooted to the floor. Those are the 2 movements. A couple of sets. So we're only hitting 2 sets of this.
Right.
So you can really attack the reps. So in your own time, let's work through those then. So we're going to go for our slide negative flies. Any way you want to push yourself back to the top, really focusing on the negative. 6 seconds on the way down if you can. 8 reps there to be good before going into our push-ups. Off we go. Typical. There we go. Look after the knees on these solid floors. All right. Okay, as soon as you're ready, you guys have started. I'll try and catch you up. Good, slow negatives. Feel it pulling at those fibers of the chest. So we've got a variant of a fly. To kick us off, slow negatives. Often overlooked, not used as much as you should. That negative portion of every lift, very contributory to the muscle fiber damage that you experience. That soreness the following day. Couple more for me. I can't control that descent anymore. That's me for the reps. I'm moving into the second movement, which is our adducted push-up. Right, I'm onto that now. All right, try and get that chest to touch. Good scapular retraction. Up and twist off to the right. Down, up and twist off to the left. Don't rush the reps. Doesn't matter if you don't do so many. Time under tension is more important than the rep count. Lead with the chest. Try not to get that scapular, pushing forward through the shoulders. Lead with the chest, not the shoulders. 2 more, come on. 1 more. Tough start. Can really feel that in the chest. 60-second breather once you've completed your reps. And we'll go again. We're going to do 2 of them before we change the pre-exhaustion superset. Let's put this on mute. Right, first set in, good start. Little 6-second breather, and we'll go again. By doing the fly variant and then moving into the relative motion, the adduction push-up, we're taking these push-ups from a general upper body push exercise where your chest, shoulders, your triceps, and we're skewing it towards the chest. So we very much want to get the chest dominating these first couple of movements if we can. So choosing these movements helps us do that. You're always going to have some assistance from the shoulders and the triceps, but if we're savvy about the exercises that we choose and how we put them together, we can minimize that recruitment here and recruitment in the back of the arm, and we can keep it where we want it in the early days on the chest. So the first couple of, when you're doing your upper body push workouts in the gym, generally we go chest into shoulders into triceps, as that's the size order of the muscle groups. If you were to start with your triceps, for example, you'd batter off those triceps, and by the time you get round to your chest, they'd be so tired you'd never get anything out of your chest. All right, then, second set then. 6 to 8 good 6-second negative flies on these slide pads into our adductive push-up, which we know gives us better recruitment of the chest. All right, here we go then. As soon as you're ready, away you go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up we come. It's dead easy to fall into that trap of not squeezing your shoulder blades together. And I can feel myself doing that now. Keep reminding yourself, give yourself the teaching points, personal train yourself, coach yourself. You know those teaching points now. Be aware of the rep. Be aware of what your body is doing, and remind yourself of where you should be in space, where your body should be, what positions your body should be in. One more. Really feel these negatives on the chest. Oh, now we're going into the adductive push-ups for me anyway. This is where the shoulders and triceps help a bit, but I'm keeping it loaded to the chest by pushing across that hand that's rooted to the body, rooted to the floor. Touch down with the chest. Touch. Let's go for 8. 1 more. I'm done there. You guys carry on if you're still working through your reps. 2 tough sets there. Kick off the chest portion of this workout. Little recovery now. We've got another 2 pre-exhaustive supersets to do. Just remind myself what I put on the workout sheet. Let's have a quick look. We're still on with an archer and a tempo push-up. Okay, so the tempo push-ups there to remind us that slow reps are equally as, if not more beneficial than just pumping out tons of reps. And the slide flies gives us a fly emphasis, which is hard to get when you're not using your cables, your dumbbells, the machines that you've got available to you in the gym. So it's just doing what we can with what we've got fly-wise before moving into your tempo push-ups. So what we've got here is then archer slide flies. We've got one side planted. So we've got one side performing a press. No way around it really, other than replicating the movement that we've just done, and the opposing hand is doing the fly. So from here, trying to keep my shoulders dead square, back a touch, So I'm going to come down into the rep and then squeeze. I'm really focusing from this bottom position, pulling this hand in. Keep fixing the angle of the elbow. So I don't want to push too much through this hand in the press with the tricep and the shoulder assistance. I want to get this hand doing as much as I possibly can. So really push this hand into the floor. And then you get that emphasis on that side. Get the shoulder square. There's your reps there. So we're going to go as many as we can on the right side, as many as we can on the left. Try and even, you know, don't completely blast yourself on the right side because you'll not even it up on the other side. So try and be sensible about how many reps you do each side. I'm going to shoot for 6 each side. Then into some tempo push-ups. I want us to do 3 and 3. That's a 6-second rep. If we get 10, that's 60 seconds of load. All right, so that's the idea here. Is shooting for 10 reps. So I'm going to drop 1, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, up, 2. That's 2 reps. 1, 2, 3, up, 2, 3. That's 3 reps. So on and so forth. If you do 10 reps, you know at that tempo you've got 60 seconds of load. When I'm doing this sort of training in the gym, sometimes some of you have heard it, I'll have a little metronome playing on my phone, ticking every 60 seconds so that I'm absolutely bang on with the timing of my reps. But just for one set, we'll just count it. Be aware that as you get tired, your body will start to get, you'll naturally start to count faster. So be strict with that count. All right, then let's go for 2 of these supersets then. Archer, slide, fly, push up to the right. Archer, slide, flies to the right. 5 or 6 reps. Archer, slide, flies to the left. 5 or 6 reps. And then let's try and get as close to 60 seconds of load as we can on that second movement on a pre-exhaustion. Okay, away you go then, your own time. 2 sets. Whew. It's tired me out doing the demos. Right, here we go then. Let's see if we can get 5 each side. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lead with the chest. You don't want those shoulders in that protracted position. Retract them, squeeze them together. Reduce the space between those shoulder blades. Drag your straight arm back into the push-up position as hard as you can by pushing it into the floor. Drive it down into the floor. One more for me. Okay, I'm onto my tempo push-ups now. I won't count out loud because it'll interrupt your count. 3 seconds down, 3 seconds up, as many as you can. You can go off your knees if you need to. Start full. If you need to drop them, drop to those knees, just to keep the reps coming. Oh my God. Drop to the knees. Tough ask that for 60 seconds of those. Certainly after those flies, I'll carry on off my knees. Got one more rep in me, I think. Triceps, chest, shoulders burning. Oh, that's a hard set. Keep going if you've got a bit more in the tank than I have. Oh, that's hard. Oh, I can really feel my chest. So I know that that exercise selection is the right exercise selection for me, because that's really, my chest is really dominating those movements, and that's really, really good. These first 2 pre-exhaustion supersets should be ragging the chest. Shoulders comes later, triceps comes later. We're getting some assistance for shoulders and triceps, but if we can make that chest do the work, then we've got a good start to this session. Really getting that chest nice and tired. Whew. Little breather there. Take your fluids on board. We've got one more of those to do before we move into our shoulder workout. So arch your slide flies. Into our tempo push-ups. Let's have another 20 seconds or so. Let's give ourselves every opportunity to get a good rep count. I've got 5 left, 5 right, and I think I got 8 of those tempo push-ups there. 3 of those tempo push-ups were off the knees. So I can gauge my performance on this next set off that one. So you've got to allow for some fatigue. We don't get better as these sessions progress. Fatigue dictates that we get worse. So I've got to factor that in. I might go 4 now on the right, 4 now on the left, and then maybe 4 and 4 off me full and off me knee push-ups. Really focusing on squeezing the chest. Really focus on the muscle that you want to do the work, so you're concentrating on your chest. Right, okay then, let's hit this second pre-exhaustion superset. Here we go. Big squeeze. Really drag that hand back into center. Try not to rest at the bottom. You have a light touch of the sternum on the floor. Don't take that tension off by resting. You don't want that tension to come off the chest at the bottom. Really drive that fly hand hard downwards into the floor to get that adduction, get that chest. Ooh. Done. Right, come on. Tempo push-ups now for me. Start full. Here we go. 2, 3, up, 2, 3, 2, 3, up, 2, 2, 2, 3, up. Ooh, come on. 2, 3, up. Oh, that's 4. Go 4 off my knees now, and I know I've had a good set. Keep the reps slow. Don't rush the reps. I'll settle for 3. Whew. That's a hard start to this session, these pre-exhaustion sets. All right, good start. Little recovery there. On to shoulders. So let's have a look what the workout sheet says for shoulders. New movement for us. Plank, torso, abduction. Good movement this. Think back to the adducted push-ups that we were doing. So if I want to do a fly and I can't move my hand across my body, what I can do is I can move my body across my hand and get the same movement. It's called relative motion, motion relative to the joint. So the joint is no different. Instead of moving your appendage, you're moving your torso. So when you do a fly, you're moving your arm. When you do those adducted push-ups, you're moving your torso, but the movement at the joint is the same. So this is effectively like a rear delt, rear and medial delt. So I'm going to get the fibers of the middle part of my shoulder and the fibers of the rear part of my shoulder working to complete this movement. I'll give you a little demo and you'll see it. This exercise is designed to replicate your classic rear delt squeezes and your medial delt work with a set of dumbbells. But we don't have that luxury training from home. So we're going to go into a plank position, and the motion is relative at the joint. So if I set up in a side plank off my left side, if I twist in to there, that's where maximum load is now on my shoulder. And I'll come up 1, turn this torso. You can reach underneath into this gap to get that rotation, and then up 2. The movement at the shoulder is the same as a sort of side raise, side delt, lateral raise. 3, 4. So we're going to go, I'm going to shoot for maybe 8 to 10. Swap to the other side. 8 to 10. That's effectively our isolation movement for the shoulders. And then into your compound movement is our pike shoulder roll push up, which we've done in the past. So from there, I'm coming to the pike position. I'm dropping down, rolling and pushing up. Dropping down to the opposite side, rolling and pushing up. So isolated movement, that replication of the side raise, the lateral raise, the posterior head raise for the sort of shoulder isolation work, and then into that press variant, which is our compound movement. Okay, so let's give it a go. Let's see how you get on. So it's a side plank, and you're rotating through that side plank, and the work is done by the middle fibers of the shoulder and that posterior, the middle and the rear part of the shoulder. Right, let's go for it then. Let's see how we get on. So we've got that twist, and then coming up. Twist, and then up. Twist. We're also getting a little bit of core, which is a good thing. I can increase the load, putting the hand out there. 4, 5. A bit more athletic this as well. I'm just picking up a set of dumbbells and throwing them out to the sides. 1 more rep from me. I can feel this in my shoulders. Quick change to the other side then. For me. Turn your torso. Your torso has to turn. 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 Big turn. You've got to get 90 degrees. 90 degrees is where that muscle is loaded. You've got to get 8 each side. 1 more. Don't rest too long from isolation into compound. I need to go into a compound movement now. That's the whole point of these pre-exhaustion movements. Into my piked shoulder roll push up. See if I can get 8, and I've had 8s all the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the hips as high over the shoulders as you can. 6. 2 more. Last one. Oh, that was tough. Oh. Felt that one in my shoulders. So emphasis for me, most definitely, has moved from the chest into those shoulders. So the principles remain the same. I've got my isolation movement, this middle and rear delt sort of fly, if you like, raises that you would do with the dumbbells in the gym, into our variant of the press, which we're doing in the piked position. Another little minute before we have the second set on there. We're doing for time. Just gone 1/2 past. Okay, if you feel good and you feel ready, you feel recovered, let's hit that second set. All right, here we go. Let's try and hit these middle and rear fibers of the shoulder. 90 degrees and up. 90 degrees. Up. You have this hand out here if you like. That would add load. That adds more leverage. Your moment arm means that that load is increased, increasing that leverage on those muscle fibers at that joint. One more for me. Quick swap. Opposite side. Felt that one in my core as well, which is no bad thing. 90 degrees. Up. 90-degree rotation. Definitely feel these in the shoulders. Squeeze, concentrate on the shoulders, concentrate on the muscle group doing the work. Oh, 8 each side. Don't rest too long. Into your compound movement now. From those isolated movements, pike, shoulder, roll, push-ups. Roll them out, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more then, makes a good set. Come on. Hips forwards. Oh man, my shoulders. That's tough. This pre-exhaustion, compared to, I think I'm feeling this particular workout maybe a little bit more than the ones we've done in previous weeks. So this isolation into compound pre-exhaustion method, I can really feel it on my shoulders then. Felt it on in the chest over there. Feeling it on the shoulders now. Hard work. Right, that's pre-exhaustion superset 1 done. While we recover, let's talk you through the 2 new movements. We've got 2 pre-exhaustion supersets for each muscle group to hit. So we did 2 for the chest prior. We've just done the first one here, so we've got another one to do here. And we've got 2 for your triceps. So we're going to do some isometrics. So thinking again about the isolation movements that we do for our shoulders, front raise, side raise, rear delt raises. Some people turn their little pinky fingers over so that the fibers of the rear delts are pointing upwards against the pull of gravity, trying their best to take the traps and the rhomboids out of it to get the rear delts to do it. All these variants of the isolation movements that we do in the gym, we've got to try and think of ways that we can do them in the home. All right, so your first one is an isometric. It's an isometric hold. You're pushing against something that's static. So I want you to find a door frame, and we're going to push against the door frame. And I'll show you the grip that we're going to use for this one so that it hits the medial delts. So we've got your door frame isometric holds, 30 seconds exerting as much force as you can. Then we're going to come into your power pushaways. So while we're here, I'll just demonstrate the power pushaways for you. We've done these before, power pushaways. We're in a piked position again because we know the piked position push-up takes the chest out of it and it loads the shoulders. So I'm going to come down, slide forwards, and then push up and back. Down, slide forwards, push up and back. And it almost turns that into as close as we're going to get to doing a military press without doing handstand push-ups, which is a tough exercise for a lot of people. So that's where we're going to be for our compound movement. So your isolation, I've got to take a little bit of a walk down the corridor just to get to my door frames. We're here. So you should see the door frame there behind us. What I want you to do is, we want that the fibers that are doing the work in the shoulder are the ones that are pointing up to the sky. So if I want my front part of my shoulder to do the work, then I should get into this iron cross position, externally rotate, and then raises there. These fibers are pointing up. That would be front shoulder work. if I turn inwards a little, internal rotation, as long as I don't get impingement, I'm going to get the medial deltoid because that's pointing up. If I want my rear delt to do the work, I'm going to turn my pinky over, and it's the rear delt that's pointing up, and that's how you differentiate between the three heads of your shoulders. So we want to get the meat, the middle, the side, the meaty middle portion of our shoulders. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the back of our hands. Rest the back of your hand into the door frame and just push away for 30 seconds as hard as you can. Exert as much force into this frame, 30 seconds as you can, straight into those power pushaways. 8, 10, 12 reps. Okay, right, let's work through this first set together then. So find your door frame, backs of the hands. In your own time, count 30 seconds. I won't count because I know it'll interrupt your count, so I'm just going to count in my head. Right, away we go. Really try and push this door frame apart. As much force as you can. Back of the hand. 10 seconds. Come on. As soon as you've done that, quickly, I'm going to just jog back up to here. Quickly into those power pushaways. Not too much hanging around in between the exercises, and I'm off. Two more. Oh, that was hard. So a good superset there. An isolated isometric movement against that door frame. 30 seconds max effort into a compound press like movement for our shoulders after getting as close to replicating that dumbbell overhead press, that barbell overhead press, that military style press that everyone does in the gym as a staple for their shoulder workout. That's as close as we're going to get to it at home, not using any kit, without leaning against the wall and doing those handstand push-ups. You never know. We might be able to have a crack at those handstand push-ups, but it's just putting your feet against the wall in the house, probably not a good idea. My missus would kill me. So we've got one more of those to do. Let's have another 30 seconds breather or so. So I'm gonna trot off down to the door frame, get ready for this second set. And then back up to here afterwards for those piked position power pushaways. Try and get the shoulders doing the work, take it off the chest. Bit of shoulder assist, bit of tricep assistance, but it's impossible to completely isolate, I think, in those movements. Right then, a few seconds then. So I'm going to give this as hard as I can in this isometric lateral raise position. I'm going to exert as much force, as much pressure against this door frame as I can. 30 seconds. Okay then, guys, as soon as you're ready, press against those frames. You're going to load up these shoulders hard as you can. 30 seconds. Keep the pressure on. Don't let that pressure come off. Keep pushing hard. 30 seconds. Halfway for me. Don't count fast. Good count. Pressure. As soon as you're done, straight onto those power pushaways. 12 last time. Be nice to get the same again. Here we go. Oh, 10. I'll take that. I'll take 10. Oh. Oh. Good rest there. Take your fluids on. 2 pre-exhaustion supersets done for chest. 2 pre-exhaustion supersets done for shoulders. You guessed it. 2 pre-exhaustion supersets to go for our triceps. All right, what time is it? 1:45. Good. Doing all right for time. So the idea is try and isolate the targeted muscle, first movement. So that's triceps as much as we possibly can on their own. No assistance from anything else. Second movement that we go to is predominantly triceps, but has assistance from the chest, assistance from the shoulders. So how would this work in the gym? Right, okay, so you might do a cable tricep press down as strictly as you can for your triceps as your isolation movement, straight into a close grip bench press or a parallel bar dip, which is a tricep dominant movement, but you're getting assistance from the chest, you're getting assistance from the shoulders. So we want to replicate that theory out here in the home if we can. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a chair tricep extension. You've got fixed flexion of the shoulders. So there's some shoulders in it, very, very tiny amount of shoulders in it, but I bet it's not, there's a load of triceps in it. Vast majority of that movement is triceps into our tiger push-up. And we know we're in the push-up position, we're going to get a little bit of assistance from the chest. We're going to get a little bit of assistance from the front shoulder, but predominantly in those tiger push-ups, the vast majority of it is triceps. So we've got an isolated movement for the triceps in the chair tricep extension. Then we've got those tiger push-ups as the compound movement, the multi-joint movement, if you like. Lots of muscle groups assisting, or other muscle groups assisting as the second part of this pre-exhaustion superset. So the reps look like this. You want your chair. There we go. We've done these movements before. Got my hands on top. The steeper the angle, or if I'm dead strong, I'm on my feet there, and they're mega challenging. If you're going on your feet, if you've got strong triceps, you give those a go. We're at the end of the session now, fatigue setting in. I probably wouldn't be strong enough to do those fresh. From here, I'm going to let my head fall lower than the line of the hands, because that's going to stretch out the long head of my tricep. Let's get some flexibility, and we'll stretch the long head of the tricep out. So I've got the reps there. So I'm going to do as many of these as I can. Maybe 12 good ones, maybe. 12 to 15 good ones. The steeper the angle of my torso, the harder the movements, the higher the percentage of weight that I'm using. So I'm going to go for those as my isolation. Then I'm into my tiger push-up. So from there, I'm going to push my hands down into the floor. Off the knees there is an option, or you can really tough it out and try and go full. Use that full percentage of your body weight. It's going to be very, very difficult after doing those. My strategy here might be 12 of those, good slow reps, good stretch. As many as I can off my feet, 3 or 4, maybe another 3 or 4 off my knees, and that's going to cook out my triceps. Let's have a go then. First pre-exhaustion superset for our triceps in your own time. It'll feel tough when you get to those tiger push-ups. Take that for free. Right, here we go. Make the angle that you work with on these as challenging as you can. So take those hips with you. Feel like you're taking your hips into this movement. If your elbows are low, don't flare them out. line your elbows so that they line up with your wrists. Don't flare them out. Already, this is hurting my triceps. I'm not looking forward to those tiger push-ups. 8, come on. 9. 10, 2 more. And the last one. Oh, they were hard. My triceps are battered already. Right, here we go. There won't be many of these full. 2. One more full. 3. Off the knees. 4. 5. 6. 2 more. 7. Last one. Oh my God. That might have been the hardest set yet. Really felt down the back of my arm. But one of the reassuring things that I'm taking away from this session is the first movements, I really felt them in my chest. Brilliant. That was where I wanted to feel them. The second movements, second sort of phase of this workout, I really felt it in my shoulders. And that's brilliant. That's exactly where I wanted to feel it. And this final section here, that first set of this final section, back of my arm screaming, tricep screaming. So again, we're doing a good job. Well, my body is telling me that we've done a good job in sort of setting these exercises up. So this has probably been one of the I'm happiest with this one over the sort of last 3 or 4 weeks. So we could well come back to this one again in a couple of weeks' time. I like this pre-exhaustion stuff. Another 30 seconds then, and we'll hit this second set. I only got 3 full-bodied tiger push-ups before I had to drop to my knees. But they're hard enough when you're doing them on their own. Never mind having cooked your triceps first with another movement. Another few seconds then. A little recovery on the triceps. Okay, if you feel good, if you feel ready, if you feel like your triceps have recovered adequately enough to complete some more reasonable quality reps, and that's the key here, is good quality reps of a good tempo. Concentrating your mind on the muscle that's supposed to be doing the work. As soon as you feel ready, let's get this second superset done before we move into our last couple of movements to come. Take your hips with you into this first one. Elbows line up, tuck your elbows underneath. Elbows line up with those wrists, head lower than the line of your hands. Stretch out those triceps at the bottom. There's the stretch. There's the squeeze. There's the stretch. There's my squeeze. I'm going to try for 10. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Oh my God. They're hard enough on their own. Okay, tiger push-ups. So we go off the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 10 of each. Oh, back of the arms on fire. Oh. If I didn't own 2 gyms, I'll be telling everybody that you could build a cracking physique at home. That's tough on the muscle groups, that is. Tough on the triceps there. Right, while we recover, let me talk you through your last superset. I believe, without looking at the workout sheet, the last superset is, excuse me, we've got some chair dips, which is more isolated than your second movement, which is your cobra push-ups. No way, the way my upper body is feeling at the moment, that I'm going to be hitting a high number of good quality full cobra push-ups. So I might just do those off the knees. Even then, I think I'm going to be happy to get 6. So fully expect your rep count to drop on this final pre-exhaustion superset. So set your chairs up so that there's a bums gap between them, and that keeps the movement nice and vertical. You want this movement to be vertical. So from there, got that space in between my chairs. The further out I have my feet, the levers disadvantage the movement. So that the higher the percentage of body weight that I'm using. So if I'm struggling, I can keep my feet a little bit closer to me as I'm performing these. I'm not the most flexible, so there's going to be internal rotation of my shoulders when I'm performing this. Do your best to retract the scapula, externally rotate if you can. Some people like to turn their hands the other way so that they get external rotation of the shoulder. I find it's a bit hard on the wrists, but just see, get your shoulders put down and back and externally rotated if you can while you're performing your dips. So you've got your dips. Start blasting out. Loads of people just pump the reps out, horrible reps really quick. Slow and controlled, and really give the triceps a squeeze at the top of the rep. As many as you can there, 6 to 8 good reps with a good squeeze after everything that we've done is sound. Into your tiger push-ups. So, cobra push-ups, I'm sorry. So off the knees, I'm going to dip down, come up. I want those elbows behind me. So we talk about the arm being an extension and getting that peak contraction on the tricep there, almost like a tricep kickback. That long head of the tricep is on peak, it's on squeeze, it's on peak contraction. And we can replicate that by going into these cobra push-ups and coming up there, 1, dip into the next rep, down, up, there 2. You want to do your best to keep your arm adducted. Don't flare the elbows out. It's going to recruit the chest. The chest will kick in and help. Keep that elbow pinned, bolted, glued, screwed to the side of your torso there. Stay nice and tucked in. So imagine you're holding some sweat towels up underneath your armpits. And if you pick them up, they're going to fall out. Keep those tucked in. That's our last superset. Dips into cobra push-ups. So you know the teaching points now. Remind yourself of the teaching points as you're working through them. Let's have 2 sets of these. So as soon as you feel ready, away you go. Not looking forward to it, truth be told, but let's get them done. Here we go. Squeeze. 90 degrees. Squeeze. One more. Cobra push-ups now. Come on, I've got 8 there. Nice to get 8 cobra push-ups with a good squeeze of the tricep. Yep. Squeeze. Dip. Squeeze 2. 3. 4. 5. Come on. 2 more for me. And I've got my 8 and 8. Elbows tucked. Oh my God. They were tough. Even off the knees at the end, they were tough. You can tell we're tired now through the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Well, I'm tired through the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Little breather there. We've got one more pre-exhaustive superset to do before we can stretch off. Another 30 seconds and we'll get stuck into it. So we're going for time. 7 o'clock. Oh, running over a bit. We'll do this last set and hour stretch off. We're done by 5 past. We didn't start. We started maybe 3 or 4 minutes past, didn't we? So maybe a few minutes late starting up. Right, okay then. Let's get it done best we can. I've got 8 and 8 then. 6 and 6 might be nice now. Good slow, good quality reps with a real hard squeeze at the peak of the movement. I'll be happy with that 12 reps total, given everything that we've done up to now. So if you're feeling good and ready, let's have a go at this last superset, pre-exhaustion themed for the triceps. Here we go. Big squeeze. 2, big squeeze. 3. Focus on the tricep. 4, 5, 6. Feeling good. So I'm going to do 2 more. Last one. Oh yeah, that kicked in 8. Right, okay. Cobra push-ups off the knees. Elbows got to tuck in on. Got to tuck in on these. Got to tuck, 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 and then squeeze. Really come into torso extension at the top of the movement. 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze those triceps. 6. 2 more. Last one. Oh, 8 and 8 again. Oh. Quick breather. Then we're into our stretching. Oh. That was hard today. This session's getting harder. Okay. All right, bit of a stretch out for chest then. So the vast majority of these fibers originate at the sternum, the sternal head of the pecs, and then they insert off at the humerus over here. So that's that they shorten to complete this movement. So they're going to stretch it in the opposite way. So let's get these hands behind, externally rotate, and get these hands behind. Stretch out your chest. If we had a door frame or something, we could push our hands into it. You know, that would intensify the stretch a little, or we can make it a bit more dynamic. We can get that bit of extra stretch on those deeper fibers by taking those hands behind, stretching out the chest. Into the shoulders then. So we've got we talked about the 3 heads of the shoulders a little while down there. So if I pull the chair in and put my hands behind, I can just stand up nice and tall, and the fibers of the front shoulder run this way, shortening to complete this movement. So if I get my hands behind me here into extension, in my arm into extension, this stretches. So get a hold of the chair and walk yourself forwards and get that upper arm into extension behind the body. And you know you're going to stretch out that front part of your shoulder. Holding at that point of discomfort. and relax there. It's exactly the same theory for these medial fibers which run this way. They complete this movement, vertical abduction. So if I can reverse that and get this hand here, then I know those fibers are going to be on stretch. So with a low elbow and a high palm, take the arm across. And change over. And relax there. It's the same story for the fibers of the rear delts which run this way. They complete this movement here, bringing the elbow back behind the body. So if I've stretched my medial delts here, I turn that hand over and get it more across my chest as opposed to low down on the sternum, then I know I'm going to encourage those fibers of the rear delts to get it on stretch as opposed to on squeeze in the opposite direction. Just with the stretching, it's dead easy. If you just reverse the muscle contraction, just reverse it. So you know what shortens the muscle fibers, change over, just reverse that movement to lengthen them. Now into the tricep. The meaty portion of the tricep, the long head, spans two joints, spans the elbow and the shoulder. So we know we can influence the tricep at the shoulder and we can influence the tricep at the elbow. So if I do this, my tricep's on stretch. If I do this and this, it's on maximum stretch. So that's why we get our tricep up over the head and behind us to get that deepest stretch on the tricep. We're separating the origin and insertion points of the tricep. So it's on its, they're at their biggest distance. And that puts the tricep on the best stretch. Change over. And relax there. What time is it? Droning on, taking us to 7:10. Put a glass out to sleep, wouldn't I? Right, nice one, well done. Who's in? Ali, Lizzie, Sean, brilliant. Well done. Bit of upper body push, bit of chest, shoulders, triceps. So tomorrow, it's it's VE day tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is everyone still keen for tomorrow?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, if you are.
Yeah, crack it. Yeah, why not? Stick to the routine. Don't want to break the routine now, do we?
No, not at all. It's the new normal, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Cracking. Well, we'll do a body pull tomorrow. We'll follow the same thing. We'll try and do a pre-exhaustion tomorrow with an isolation, then into a compound. So we have a different theme to complete next week. We might do some volume training next week. That'll be interesting. So doing higher amounts of work next week if we can. Nice one. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Pat. Cheers. Good
Cheers.
as ever. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Well done.
Bye.
See you in a bit.
Cheers, Pat.
No worries, Sean. See you later, mate.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, sound. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, bud.
See ya.